As a rhythm player, you are interested in playing chords on your instrument using chord shapes. ChordWizard can show you how to play the chords in any song, and it can also identify any of your own chord shapes that you have discovered on the fretboard. ChordWizard works with databases of chord shapes, which are called libraries. A library is like a traditional chord book, but it's much more flexible and quicker to use. Instead of flicking through the pages of a chord book, you set a filter for the chord you are looking for. Here we have the beginner guitar library open. All of the chord shapes in the library are shown in this list, grouped by chord. At the bottom we can see that the library has 420 chord shapes in it. We can filter this list down to just the chord shapes we are interested in. The current filter is shown in the filter bar here and in the status bar here. As we change filters, you'll see these being updated. In Library View, it's very easy to find chord shapes for playing a particular chord. All we have to do is set a chord filter with this chord matrix here. If we want to play the G major chord, we find the G column and the major row and click on the cell. The number 5 in it tells us there are 5 G major chord shapes in the library, and here they all are. The first one is selected, and so it appears in full detail on the fretboard. Each chord shape has a tablature notation showing us which fret to hold each string down at. An X is a mute string that isn't played, and a 0 is an open string which is played but not held down. So you can see we have X, X, 0, 0, 0, 3. At the end of the fretboard are the notes made by each string in the chord shape. These are G, B, and D, the notes in G major. We can explore the other chord shapes for G major by clicking on each one in turn. And we can find chord shapes for other chords in the same way. A minor 7, F major 7, E7, D minor. This is a beginner library, so there's only a few chord shapes for each chord. We can find other new chord shapes for D minor with Design View. The filter tells ChordWizard that we're interested in D minor chords, so the overlay labels here are showing us where the notes of D minor appear all over the fretboard. We can use these to design a new D minor chord shape, as easy as colour by numbers. We need to have one of each colour, like this. And now we've found another way of playing D minor. There's something not quite right though. See how this mute string is showing in red. Down here we have the explanation. Chord shapes with too many mute strings can sound a bit thin, and so we'll add a repeat of the note D with an open string here, and now it's happy. There's options that tell ChordWizard about the quality and difficulty of chord shapes you want to use. You can make adjustments with this button here. These specify how many fingers you can use and how far they can stretch, whether they can bridge across strings for bar chords, and so on. This one we saw just now. We're limited to a maximum of 2 mute strings. Now that we've designed a new D minor chord shape, we can keep it for future use by adding it to the library. If we check the library, we'll see our new chord shape there. We're not interested in D minor anymore, so we'll remove the filter setting. And now the overlays have gone. We can also use Design View to identify chord shapes that we've discovered. For example, this one makes a rich, open sound, but doesn't seem to turn up in any chord book. ChordWizard can tell us exactly what chord we are playing. We could click on the fretboard like we did before, but another way is to enter the tablature notation with the keyboard, like this. We find that it's an E minor 7 chord. We can play the sound with this button, or if we right-click over the fretboard, we get a little plectrum we can strum with. Again, let's add this one to the library. As well as working with chord shapes on the screen, you can also print them for study or practice away from the computer. Let's print all the chord shapes for E-7. We set the filter, and here's our chord shapes. Now if we preview a chord book report, here they are on paper. You can print an entire chord book this way if you like. If we remove the filter, the report will contain all of the chord shapes in the library. This time we'll change a couple of printing options. For the title pages, we'll show a full page banner and a table of contents. Here's our cover, our table of contents with page numbers, and the rest of our chord book ready to print.